This is LXBN TV, and I'm Colin O'Keefe. We're here at day 2 of Avocating 2012. We're coming out of a great session on how practicing lawyers can use Avvo. I'm here with Sachin Bhatia. He is the Director of Product Management at Avvo. Starting off, you touched on this a bit before that panel got underway, and lawyers are always trying to enhance credibility because I think that's the starting point for getting relationships, referrals, and that type of thing. How is Avvo better than other platforms when it comes to enhancing a lawyer's credibility, especially compared to things like Twitter and Facebook?
And I won't use the word better. I'm going to use the word a little bit easier and more approachable. And I'm going to talk really about the Q&A platform. I think that's a much more approachable medium than Facebook or Twitter. And Facebook, it's really difficult to figure out how to status updates, what are you going to talk about, and actually really show expertise. And Twitter is 140 characters, and you're limited, and you really can't show the credibility via content, like building out a content footprint. So what Q&A does is allows you to build credibility with words. Something that lawyers are really good at. They're really good at writing, and it gives you a chance to build credibility on something that at least one person cares about. And what's interesting about Q&A is that one person's interested about it, it gets published as a page, and usually 90, 100 other people will find it useful as well over the lifetime of that question. And that's probably the minimum bar. It's usually probably 1,000. It just has a nice steady stream of traffic that other people are going to find this interesting. And so I wouldn't, like I said, it's not better, it's just more approachable. The credibility comes from actual real ways of how you make decisions on how somebody would handle the legal case.
Yeah, definitely. I think they're really different approaches, especially because Avvo can be so focused on the knowledge that you have, where I think Facebook and Twitter can be more personal. People look at Twitter like, how can they use it as client development when really, you can put personal things out there. You'd be like, oh, you like the Cubs,
Absolutely.
I like the Cubs, you're a great bankruptcy lawyer too, that type
Absolutely.
of thing.
Yeah, in Avvo, we don't really give that form. We don't give the form of posting pictures of your kids or talking about how the Cubs won, or we don't. Ours is like a purely business platform, and I really do think that piece of Twitter is that Twitter can be used for business, but you can actually mix in some of that personal. Show that talk about a great fly fishing trip. Talk about this great play that your kids are part of, and post a link to the video, and it does make you more human. And on the internet, that's what it's about right now, and connecting as a human. And so use those as use the right tool for the right purpose, and that's the way I would look at it as well too.
Yeah, absolutely. And we start by comparing the two services a little bit, but how does Avvo and a lawyer's profile and account on there integrate with those other services? How does it integrate with other social media opportunities?
So at the basic level, you can link your Avvo account to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. You can actually you can tie them together, and features that you're allowed to have. So when you answer a question, we'll automatically post those up to your Facebook and Twitter if you would like to. We bring in the endorsements you've received or the connections you have on Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, so that you actually can see faces that you already know on those networks who are already active on Avvo, so that you can engage with them on Avvo, so that you can, if you know them and you've worked with them in the past, or if they're past clients, you can request a client review or get an endorsement, because we're bringing those networks in so that you can build on top of those.
Yeah.
And also for things that happen that are great on Avvo, your endorsements, or you get a new 4 or 5 star review, or your Avvo rating increases, we'll automatically publish those out to those pages. It's a great way of adding more content in it, in an automated way, so that it mixes in with some of your organic work you're doing on these profiles.
Mm-hmm, definitely. It's always nice to enable people to communicate with their friends on the platform of their choice. For example, I was walking over from the ferry to down here, and I continually check to see which of my Twitter followers have joined Instagram. I'm checking that page because I prefer to follow people on Instagram. I think it's great, and it's cool. It's that Avvo does that. They can take their friends and communicate with them on the platform of their choice, which may be Avvo. And lastly, just kind of a more fun question. What's the coolest thing you're working on at Avvo right now? What are you excited about?
I'm going to say that it's actually not the technology stuff. The technology is always exciting. Social and mobile, it's all great. But what's been really interesting and eye-opening is that we're in this constant study mode right now, where we're actually bringing in real consumers of legal services and actually really understanding what they want, like really digging in. And we're doing that significantly more often right now than we were in the past. And what I find to be really interesting is that we're really hearing new ways that people want to interact with lawyers, and it's really opening up the possibilities. Like, they're all carrying around these phones. They actually want to Skype with their lawyers. They want to FaceTime with lawyers. And, it's the clients are going to drag us to leverage this technology. But they want to reduce the friction. And hearing that from their own words and how they're interacting and how they get the information, that's the coolest thing. It's still the coolest thing, and it's been cool for 6 years, but it's really cool now because now they know what's possible. And they're seeing the future just like we are, and it's great.
Yeah, definitely. I think whenever you're working on a new piece of technology, us at LXPN trying something new, it's not about, hey, look, I did something cool. It's the impact that it has on people's lives.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the most important thing. Once again, Sachin Bhatia, Director of Product Management at Avvo. For more video interviews with Avvo presenters, exhibitors, and attendees, be sure to check us out at lxpn.lexblog.com. Thanks.
Thank you.